くぞジェノサイカッタ
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today I want to talk about power creep and the state of the game and the direction of where the game is actually going. So we're going to discuss all these BS and SS characters, the time frames to which they came into this game, and how it's really affected everything in the game. So the first characters that we got as far as BS and SS are concerned are Rugal and Orochi. They showed up about 9 months ago, and at the time that they showed up in the game, it wasn't really a big deal. It was actually very, very exciting because they were the first of their kind, and we were all like, oh, hell yeah, especially me, being a huge Rugal fan. He's my main guy, right, when it comes to the KOA franchise. But even that, still, I was very, very happy to see it, right? It was really, really nice to see that at the time. And then, 2 months after that, then we ended up getting Mai and Athena. Well, the thing that happened is, Rugal was, the highest damage dealing character in the game. Well, then Maisie showed up with Athena here. And then Maisie had this crazy leadership with 60% increased attack for all female fighters. And then along with some other certain characters from other collaborations like the Seven Knights, like Eileen, she just ended up being the new meta. She actually had more damage than Rugal, right? Rugal has double attack buffs on him. Well, so does Mai, but Mai actually has dot as well. So she's got like double attack, but she also has, she's got increased attack by 35% here, increased attack by 28% for here, but she also has dot, right? So it just stacks even more, right? So there was already some evident power creep at that point. You got Rugal and Orochi, then 2 months later, you got Mai and Athena, and already this power creep. And at that point in the game, we were kind of like, okay. We got some power creep, but it's not so bad right now. And then 2 months after that, we got Chrysalid and Geese. And what happened at that point in the game? Well, then Chrysalid ended up being the freaking insane god meta. Now Geese, he ended up being the immortal dungeon meta. He still is. He's still freaking insane. All these characters are amazing. But Chrysalid here, because of his leadership, the increased boss fighter attack by 60%, right? And then, of course, having the double dot, the Starlight and Darkness, which made him very, very relevant for guild raids. It actually made him insane, does insane damage because he does grab skills. He just cancels skills super, super fast. And, and I'm not even getting into the PvP aspect of all this power creep, right? Every one of these characters, when they were coming in, it just got better and better as far as PvP was concerned. Chrysalid and Geese are, even to this day, still very, very strong in PvP. And I would really argue that Mai and Athena are actually very good by, good players, but probably getting a little bit outdated by this point because of all the power creep that we've been having in the game. So, so you're already seeing this trend of power creep each time. Rugal and Orochi, right? It was Rugal that was insanely strong. Orochi was great for PvP. And then with Mai and Athena, then we had even more power creep. Then with Chrysalid and Geese, we had even more power creep. And then come Kyo and Iori. And everybody knows that Kyo here ended up being just Mr. Dominator, right? Insane freaking damage, right? Because of all this increased target damage received. Having Iori on the team increases his damage. The guy's just nuts. Oh, so once again, and look at his leadership, right? He's got this increased SS fighter attack by 60%. And so, once again, we have more power creep. He's got Burn and Starlight in this kit, right? So, Netmarble, once again, they throw out a character with even more power creep. So, you see the trend that's going on. Every single banner that we get regarding SS and BS, it's a little bit more power creep, more power creep, more power creep. And the time spans between them really aren't that much. 9 months ago, we had Rugal and Orochi. 7 months ago, we had Mai and Athena. 5 months ago, we had Chrysalid and Geese. Right? And then after Chrysalid and Geese, they started moving it even faster because Kyo and Iori came just 1 month after them. Not only did they increase power creep, but they're doing it at a faster rate. And we'll talk about the repercussions of that because, honestly, it's not a good thing for this game. I actually think it's a very bad thing, especially considering what's going on in the game currently right now. And then 1 month after Kyo and Iori, then who'd we get? Well, we got Ignis here. And we got Zero. 2 insane freaking characters, right? Insane damage, right? You got characters, well, Zero's got the bleed and the poison. Ignis here with the freaking insane 10-second shock, which is the first of its kind to have a dot that actually lasts 10 seconds. And his default and his 3PG both cannot be interrupted by guild raid. Right? And pretty sure Zero's the same way. I know Zero's 3PGs, but pretty sure his default's the same way. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But that was just, and so even more power creep. They just started outshining other characters, right? And then what they do for Ignis here, they gave him a leadership that applies to all the all-star fighters by 55%, right? So they just gradually just bumping up these characters more and more and more as we go, right? And Zero's just insane, man. Crazy strong character. Still is a crazy strong character, right? All of them are. And then after Ignis and Zero, we had the DOA 6 collaboration just 1 month after they showed up. And with the DOA 6 collaboration, we ended up getting all these SS characters like Neo Tengo, we got Marie, we got, everybody's favorite Honoka because she was free and everybody could get her through the carnival, which was pretty damn awesome. So that wasn't a big deal. And Honoka's damage really was just nutso insane, and Neo Tengo's survivability, I would argue, still the best in the game. It's just nuts. But people really weren't too worried about it because, Honoka being so strong, we were okay with it because she was free, right? For most players were able to get her to A3. I mean, even on my free-to-play account, I've got enough memories to take her to A5, I believe, which is pretty crazy on a free-to-play account. And I know a lot of you are going to be in the same situation. She got the great leadership. And this wasn't so bad, right? Like, whenever you get power creep, but everybody gets it. Everybody can get the character. Everybody can level them up, at least a minimum to A3 for the most part for most players. It's not so bad, right? Because everybody's got the same advantage. But with the other characters, it's a different story because you actually have to pull them in banners. You're going to need rubies for these characters, which is another thing, right? They've gradually, at first they separated these banners by a couple months. Now they're separating them only by a month, right? Because, with Rugal and Mai, there was 2 months apart. With Mai and Chrysalid, it was 2 months apart. And then with Chrysalid and Kyo, it was just 1 month. And then it was 1 month after that between the Kyo and Ignis, right? We had the DOA 6 collaboration a month after that. And then a month after that, we got Kay and Kula, who are insane. Now, as far as power creep is concerned with Kay and Kula, I don't think we really seen a lot of power creep with those characters. And you know what? That was a good thing. That was an amazing thing. These are really great characters. These are amazing characters. They have a lot of utility. They're very well-rounded. They're very good for PvP and PvE. They both have dot explosion. Very, very strong. I would argue that I think Kula's probably a little bit better, to be perfectly honest. Her damage is actually just better than his. But he's got, but Kay had the great leadership. And I thought these characters were actually very welcomed because we didn't see this insane power creep with these characters. With all the other BS and SS banners, we were seeing it, right? We were seeing it. I mean, we didn't really see it with the DOA 6 collaboration because Honoka, she was really getting compared to Kyo, and Kyo still at the time had the most damage. But if he didn't have Iori on the team, Honoka could actually outshine him as far as damage from all the testing that I've seen from other players. But whenever Kay and Kula came in, it was actually pretty awesome because we didn't really see a lot of power creep, and that's the way it should be. Whenever you're bringing in a banner every single month, you're bringing in a new SS and BS banner every single month, right? You should not have this insane power creep. But after Kay and Kula, what happened? What happened? We ended up getting these characters. We ended up getting Genitz and Leona, who we all know are just god tier, especially Leona. Just insane right now. I don't want to put any salt on this because we all know that I'm a huge fan of Leona. She's my waifu. But I got to be straight with all of you. I don't think power creep is good for the game, especially this kind of power creep. Wherever you see these characters just completely destroy in PvP and PvE. I know I put a lot more stocks on PvE than I do PvP, but it's still important to have balance in PvP because if you're just always having the strong characters in PvP, then it can get pretty damn boring. When people are just spamming their skills, it can get pretty damn boring because these characters are so powerful with their CC effects, with their fear effects, and their PG rate. They're just so powerful. They're very hard to deal with, especially as far as removing super armor and hyper armor. It's just another thing that adds on to all of everything else that's in their kits. These characters are insanely strong. And the problem with power creep is, especially the way they're pushing out power creep, is that people feel pressure to pull for these characters. Now, you don't have to pull for these characters. In fact, I would always recommend, once you get a certain SSBS character and you're able to get them to A3, maybe skip a banner or two, right? Save your rubies because they have been pushing out these banners quite a bit. And I do think it's something they should pull back on or give us a way to farm BS and SS memories. Like actually farm them in the game, similar to what we can do with the Epic Quest, right? With the Epic Quest, we can farm these memories every single month, right? We can get a memory for Maxima, for Ignitz, and for Zero every single month, right? They limit it to us, but we can still do it. And this is what we should have. We should have some way of forming some kind of coins or something to get BS and SS memories. And I really think that would help a lot, right? Power creep is never good for a game because what happens is game modes start getting boring. I mean, seriously, guys. I mean, you come in a guild raid here, right? And if you got Leona and you got her to A3, more than likely you're freaking, in that billion range. You're scoring 1 billion. I've seen a 6 billion run. One key, 6 billion in guild raid on Lunatic. 6 billion. Why in the hell do we need to score that high of a score? 6 billion? All you need is 714 million to get the maximum rewards in this thing. Why do you need to score 6 billion? That's absolutely insane. That's absolutely insane. You don't need to do that. That's crazy, right? Why do we need all of this power? Why do these characters need to be so strong? We all know why, because, Netmarble's trying to make that dollar. And I get that, but Netmarble, you need to really slow down on bumping out these banners or give us a for sure way to farm BS and SS memories. And that would relieve the pressures of the player base as far as getting these characters, because at least when they get the character, maybe it'll take a long time, but at least then they can still level them up. Whereas right now they feel pressured, and I know that's part of your game. You want players to feel pressured, but I'm telling you, when you make players feel pressured, when they feel like they have to pull for characters because of the meta chasing crap, they're going to end up getting tired of it. Some people will quit the game because of that kind of crap, right? You need to balance out to where we can actually build the characters, but still, and just incorporate a little bit of power creep, just a little bit. Not this godly crap where, characters are just destroying the past banner like they're nothing, right? Leona and Ignitz will absolutely destroy Kay and Kula as far as damage. They will absolutely destroy. And they're only a month apart. They're only a month apart. And they will it's just ridiculous. Now, I mean, I'm happy that Leona and Ignitz are strong, right? I'm happy about it. But at the same time, I'm actually pretty bummed out about it because I know what this kind of thing does to the game. Power creep is something that needs to be gradually done in games, because what it's going to do is increase the longevity of the game. And that's what I care about the most. I want this game to last. I don't want it to get canceled immediately or get shut down immediately because you guys keep pushing all this power creep. You keep pushing all these characters out over and over and over. You're making the players feel pressured to get these characters, right? And it also just puts a sour taste in people's mouth because they're just not going to have the amount of rubies. I know that you do give us some rubies and we do appreciate that, but it really isn't enough. Even if you have, like with each of these banners, a way for us to farm a BS or SS memory, like what you've done in the past for the SS memories, that would be all right? If you give us a way that we can actually farm a memory for each one of these banners that comes out, like right now we got Leona and Ignitz, if we had a way of farming a BS memory, that wouldn't be so bad. It would ease the pain a little bit for the players. And another topic that I want to talk about is because of all this power creep, all these game modes are just getting so easy, right? Pretty much just coming into Immortal Dungeons and we're just plowing through this. We're destroying this like it's absolutely nothing. I autoed this with one team yesterday. With Leona, Geese, and Chrysalis, just autoed it. 500 million like it's nothing. And I'm pretty much doing that with all the Immortal Dungeons. Pretty much coming into Guild Raid, easily getting that, a million point or a billion points, right? Coming in Dungeon and Trials and just spamming my characters and easily getting the points. Right? It's just super easy. And I realize I'm a veteran and I realize I got some super strong characters, but I'm telling you, there's plenty of free-to-plays out there that are veterans that are doing the same thing. Content is getting very, very easy. And what happens is when content is easy, it becomes stagnant. People start getting bored, right? You don't want to play the same things over and over and over. You need to give us more of a challenge. I know we have Chapter of Fight, but you can only go so far in Chapter of Fight without leveling up your characters any further. And the problem is, why would you want to level up your characters any further if you don't need it? Why would you want to level them up further if you don't need it? If you're completing all the content in the game, right? If you're destroying everything in the game, why do you need it? Not to mention that we also have the fame system, which can also level up our characters, increase their power on top of all the power creep that we've gotten. Netmarble, what you've done is you've made the game super, super easy, right? On my free-to-play account, I'm pretty much doing everything in the game. I'm pretty much almost clearing all the content in the game in just 5 to 6 months of playing a free-to-play account. That is too fast. We shouldn't be able to do that. You need to have challenging content to where we actually struggle. You don't want to just complete it and get through it. So my advice to you is have a game mode where we can get our BS and SS memories. We can choose between them to where we actually need to build up characters and do so well to where we can actually get materials for the BS or SS memories. If you did that, I think that would help a lot. I mean, I've mentioned this before, you know, having a game mode where you can farm for a certain amount of materials and you go to an exchange shop and then you just pick your memory. That's all you need to do, right? And make it to where it is difficult, make it to where it is hard. That way it gives players reason to level up these characters to A5 to get all that extra CP, because honestly, Epic Quest is awesome and I love Epic Quest, but it really isn't worth it, because here's the problem with this. These characters are great in here. I think they're fantastic, but a lot of players, like veterans, they're not going to need these characters. They don't need them for anything because they're already clearing everything in the game. The only reason they're really going to want these characters if they're completing everything in the game is because they love the characters, because they're fans of these characters. And that's, you know, that's a fine reason to pick them up, but it's not going to be a good reason for all the players out there. I mean, if players know that we have all this power creep and they know that the next BS or the next SS is going to be the next big thing, then they're just going to save, wait for the rubies, get those characters, and just start completing everything in the game. And then what happens is Epic Quest becomes less relevant because of this. People don't even really worry about it. I even find myself kind of backing off on Epic Quest because I'm completing everything in the game. I mean, really, the only reason I keep trying to push it is because of content, as a content creator. But let's be honest, most players out there, they're not content creators. So Netmarble, you know, give us a way to farm BS and SS memories, at least during these banners, or give us a game mode where we can actually farm for those memories. And I think that would help out a lot. Also, you know, if you would give us a game mode where we can farm for those memories that's actually very challenging, like in-game content for veteran players, I think that would be awesome, because as long as the game is super, super easy, it's going to get boring for a lot of players, which is what we don't want. We want difficulty. We want a challenge, because that's what makes games fun. So let me know how y'all feeling about the ideas that I've gave Netmarble and the power creep that we've had in this game. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT+7 time. The link will be in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.